All right, welcome in. Welcome to the Women's Wellness Network and welcome here to our guest. Hello, Cheryl. How are you doing?
I am fine. Thank you so much for having me. I so appreciate it, Tammy.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's wonderful to meet you and I'm excited to hear about your story and your journey. Um, yeah, I understand these things and well, I'll just let you go ahead and begin. Maybe tell us where you are in the world first.
Okay. As you know, my name is Cheryl. I'm from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, just south of it. And we just actually made a big move this summer. So we're just getting used to our new place. And um, in the past, I've worked with all our professional sports teams in Ottawa. So I was in marketing and sales for our sports teams. And then I decided that I wanted to be my own boss and I became an entrepreneur. And I started a business doing events coordinating because that's something I just love hosting parties. Like I just love it. And one of the things I did with the Ottawa Senators was with the president's he was the president, still is, and I would have his suite, and I would just host parties all night, and it was so much fun. Um, and then so I was like, I want to host stuff, and I want to help with our community. I want to help bring awareness to different charities in our communities. So that's what I did is I aligned myself with different charities in Ottawa, and I would do events for them to raise awareness and funds. And then I would just get paid, and I wouldn't get paid the amount that a regular events coordinator would pay because I wanted to be like part of that this is what I'm giving back to the community.
Right.
And so funny enough, one of the first my first client was Brain Injury Canada. and
Oh
then
my
and
gosh.
then
Isn't
I
that
know,
weird?
right? And then 4 years later, here I am. So, or 4 years later, 10 years ago, um, with a brain injury. So it's kind of weird, but anyways, so yeah, I in 2014, I was we were just going in to watch a hockey game for the Olympics, Canada and US, and we were just going down the stairs to watch the TV. Their living room, family room was downstairs, and I slid down the stairs. I fell from the top, and I just like kept going down the stairs. Um, as I say to it, I was bobsledding without the sled.
Yeah.
And so I sustained multiple concussions. And shortly during the game, I said to my husband, I said, I just got to go. I got to go home. I think I'm concussed. He works nights, so got him to get me up and stuff. And the next morning, I woke up and I couldn't see. And I was like, okay, this is really bad. And so I rested it for a couple of days, and then I went to a clinic, and the doctor said, "Okay, take some Tylenol and just sit in a black room." And I was like, "Really, really?" But with our because of the impact of concussions and how frequently they happen on a daily basis, I believe it's 11 in Canada. 11 concussions occur every minute. I think I no, don't quote me on that, but
Yeah,
yeah, like
still, that's a lot.
it's yeah, yes, and um, it took me about almost 2 years before I got in to see a professional about concussions. That's how long it took for us for me to get in, which is so wrong, and that's
Yeah.
changing, goodness, because of all the awareness of concussions and brain injuries. And during my journey, for the first bit, I was a little bit angry, but I was so messed up. I didn't know if I was coming or going. I was in so much pain with migraines on a daily basis, and it was hard. Um, but it wasn't as hard as it was the second and the third time, when you're down and but there was something, and it was this event that I'm doing is to bring awareness not only about concussions and brain injuries, but the impact it has on people, their family, their friends, their financial situation, their mental health is a huge thing, their physical health, their emotional health. Like psychologically, I'm a very strong person, um, and I can get through a lot. And there's a lot of things that we as women go through, especially our age, that in the past that was okay, but not okay, right? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And you go
Yeah.
through a lot of that abuse.
Yeah.
Um, and I said to a friend, I said, who knew everything I've been through, and I said, all of that, combine all of that, and it doesn't even compare to a brain injury. And I said, that's how difficult it is because your brain is gone. Your thoughts, you don't know if they're yours or where they're coming from because it's just like they just come and then the anger, the frustration, the sadness, and it was Love Your Brain. Somehow it came to me, and they offered free programs for people, and I actually got to go in to a yoga studio with 10 other people within my community that had brain injuries, and we spent an hour and a half there, and we got 8 weeks of that free of charge. And financially, my income was gone, like
Right.
gone, completely
Yeah.
gone, because I worked for myself. And and we went in there and we'd take a half an hour and talk about all the positive things that happened during the week, and we would do yoga, and we were all sitting on the floor the first weeks, and by the 8th week we were all standing. We might have been having to hold the wall to do a tree pose. Is that like tree pose? But some of us let go, and it was like, oh, okay, but I did it, and that was huge, and that got me into a place where, okay, still the body, still the mind, and you can do it. And then I started listening to The Secret on a disc, and when I could cook dinner, which took me pretty much all day, but
Oh,
my mind wouldn't remember things, so it was constantly replay, 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 replay. And my husband, and be like, oh, and he's like, oh God, I can recite that whole secret. and but that's what it was, and it got me onto the place. It's like, okay, and I think it was Donald Walsh said, if you have your brain, you can do anything. I'm like, okay, I don't have my brain, so the first thing I have to do is get my brain back. And so literally, as I mentioned to you earlier, I would take my glasses. All of a sudden I have to wear glasses now, and I would take them off to put these ones on so I could see far, see near. And I'd be, oh, every time I put on these smart goggles, they're amazing. My brain, I don't know how the technology works, but my brain just absorbs everything every time I put on my glasses. And I'd walk around and just say that. And then I'd have stop signs all over my house posted. And every time I saw a stop sign, I would stop and thank the universe for my healing as if it was already there. And during my meditations, I would visualize me kayaking, playing golf again, riding a bike, and I can do that again, you know. And doctors told me I would never heal. I was with the concussion committee in Ottawa, and it was and nothing against that. That was 10 years ago. Research has developed so much with neuroplasticity and reprogramming the brain, and that's what I was doing, but I didn't know I was doing it. I was just doing it somehow. My soul came to me, or that the being within me, my faith, was solid that I would heal. Because when I talked to, I won't mention his name because I don't want to give him a bad rep, but he's leading researcher in Canada for concussions. And I was on the committee. I actually participated in to design protocols across Canada for people that have had a concussion on what to do and all that kind of stuff. So I was, I knew the doctor very well. And after meeting, I said to him, I said, okay, it's my 2.5 years, because that was the timeline. If you're not better after 2.5 years, that's it. And I said to him, I said, okay, it's been 2.5 years. Give me good news. This is, and I said, I am going to heal from this. He didn't say yes or no. He said, be grateful for what you have. And I looked at him and I said, there is no effing way that I am going to live this way the rest of my life. I'm 45 years old. I am not going to live this way. And I went on a mission and I did everything and anything. And one of the, which was the stop sign thing that gave me that, and the plasticity was the my hypnotist,
Mm.
and she hypnotized me. She told me about a study about a gentleman who had a stroke, and he would just sit there for weeks, and eventually, and all he wanted to do was lift his finger, and he eventually he lifted it, and now he's walking, talking, and living and breathing. And she hypnotized me with the red stop signs. Every time you see red, your brain is going to heal. And so that came into my consciousness, and or subconscious, I guess, in a sense, both really, because I every time I saw it, it was like, thank you for my healing. Thank you. I am healing. I'm healing, you know? And so it was
It's like you had the
amazing.
awareness. Suddenly you could have the awareness. You're having the awareness of things that you could do to help yourself. And I think that's half the battle is having at least somebody give you some sort of positive directive or some hope in some way. I've always been uh, I'm not a lover of the word hope because hope, when I was going through my own issues, challenges, and I guess there are challenges. Um, Hope was always, for me, honoring our personal expectations. So I think as soon as people start realizing that it's up, hope comes from in here. It's not something that somebody else gives us. And to find that from, a source, and you realize, oh, wait, I got this. I can do this. I'm learning. I'm changing. I'm growing. I'm not. My brain is coming back. It's waking up. It's kind of like it goes to sleep, right?
It was, and it was so weird because like I really don't want to remember the first year because it was so physically painful. Um, but I don't even know how I got through it. Like I don't know what gave me the drive to get through that pain, because it was physical. It was really, really bad. And my doctor refused to give me any kind of painkillers. So like I was taking 8 to 10 Tylenol ones with codeine a day. And that was just so I could get out of bed and make supper, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
And eventually, yeah, and eventually I was like I was like in 1 year I said I went I probably had about 1,000 Tylenol ones. I was like, what is that doing to my body?
Right.
And
Right.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so marijuana is legal in Canada, and that's
Right.
that is my medication now, is
Right.
medicinal marijuana, and
Beautiful.
by far better. It not only helped with the pain, it helped with the emotional part of it, it helped with the physical part, the psychological part, the calmness of my body and my brain. And yeah, it's it was kind of like this. It's like, doctor, she goes, yeah, but we don't have evidence. And I'm like, yeah, but it's all natural. It's a
Right.
weed.
At
It's
least let
like
me
that
give it a
dandelion.
try. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nature. It's nature. It belongs to us. We belong to it, right? We don't have those receptors in our brain for no reason. Those they're there to help us. And learning the plants, and I hope that comes back in full force. I think I can see that it is like herbalists and things are coming back, trained and learning about that kind of stuff and bringing it to the masses because I know from my own experience also, um, the help wasn't going to be in the medical system. It was going to have to come from myself. It was going to have to come from, you know, different avenues that I could follow and find people. And definitely plant medicine. Plant medicine is, as I said, we are nature. So why wouldn't it work? Why, right? And all these pharmaceuticals come from originally, from nature.
And it's
Crazy.
so true. And our ancestors, that's what they did. That's how they healed. Was everything was natural. And I'm part Native Canadian Indian, and I'm so proud
Oh,
of that. I I I don't know a lot about my background, and it's something that is going to be my passion to start learning more about it. And it's amazing though when I hear stories from my aunts and stuff like that about their grandparents and their great grandparents, and hearing them how life was just easy and good and so simple. And I have to say that I have a since my injuries, I have such a more awareness of what's going on around me, and but not news wise, not
Right.
the news, but around like the collective of light and goodness. And I find we're coming back to um more and more, we're coming back to all the natural ways of being. Like you know, like meditation and gratitude. Like gratitude is the most powerful thing that can flip your energy and what you're feeling is. If you're sad and lonely or hurting, find one thing that brings you joy and gratitude, whether it's your pet, your husband, your wife, your dad, your mom, your best friend, faith, God, whatever it is. Find one thing that gives you a reason to shift and say, "Oh, I love her so much," you know.
Right.
Um, and that can shift your energy, and just sit in that for like, put a picture in your mind of your pet or who or your husband, your wife, whatever, and just sit there with your eyes closed for just a minute, and your energy will change. And yeah, I I can't believe I'm sitting here talking about this, because this was so not me. I was a good person. I was a good person before, but I was like every, and that's not right, general. But you know, you're moving through life and you're just go, 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 go. And
Right.
honestly, my husband and I have been together for 23 years. The last 10 years, we've had we've been together. Well, the first year we were together more in the first year of my concussion than we had been in the 13 years prior, just because our work schedules. Like, you know, I was going to bed, he was getting up. And it was like always a tag team. It was like, hey,
Right.
there's somebody sleeping in my bed. What's going on? And, and so life was busy. And even with building my business, it took a lot, and he helped me with it. And very very successful it was. And the life just kind of, if we don't truly stop and smell the roses, we're truly missing out. And I guess the universe wanted me to stop and smell the roses in a very hard way. um,
Uh,
because yeah, it's like, hello, bang,
mm.
it's time to stop.
Literally,
Yeah,
literally a conk on the head, right? Uh,
exactly. And it was like, okay, why? Okay, why did this happen? After a couple of years, I was like, okay, why did this happen? And right away, um, I got the feeling, my intuition said, you're to heal to help others. And that I know is my purpose in life. This is this, I want to serve. I always have wanted to serve. I went to Africa when I was 19. Um, I went to school as a social worker, never worked a day in my life as a social worker, but went to school for it, graduated with honors. I was volunteering as a teenager. I always did that kind of stuff. And that's what gave me joy and pleasure. And so when I started my business, that was what it was about, was helping others. And and that's why it was so hard to lose my business because of it. But now I'm going to help in different ways, and not only people with brain injuries and concussions, because this knowledge, this knowing is, I hope one day, is fundamental in our schools. You know, I'm actually trying to get
yes,
into our
please.
school boards. I'm actually trying to get into their schools and talking to to kids, to let them like, hey, yes, a concussion is bad, but you can heal from it. So don't worry, you got it, you got it. And not only that, is the parents will have more ease at putting their kids back into sports,
Right.
because kids need to play. Kids need to
Oh,
play,
yeah.
need to have fun. And because of the concussion, brain injury awareness and stuff, um, here in Ottawa, anyways, kids weren't playing as much sports. And so, and I can see the fear. If you don't know, you just know is that there was a young woman who had played rugby, and this is going back Rowan's Law. I don't know how long ago it was, um, and she sustained multiple concussions playing rugby, and she died in her sleep. And so that's when it became a big thing here in Ottawa, and the government put into place Rowan's Law, and that's when all the schools had to learn about, and all the teachers had to go to education on concussions. Like every person in the school system had to be educated on brain injuries and concussions, the signs, the symptoms, and what to do, what not to do, and all that. And
Right.
so, and now I want to expand on that and just go, okay, so we know this information on what to do and what not to do. But when it happens, just go internally. And I know it sounds so simple, and it is really simple, but it's so hard because our brain, I've learned a lot about our brain. Our brain, its natural instinct is fear and flight because of where we evolved it from caveman to hunting, and that is our brain still. So no matter whether you have a brain injury or not, your brain automatically goes to the negative part in protection mode.
Right.
Just that
To keep you
that
safe.
is to keep us safe. Yes, absolutely. So in a sense, when I suffered my brain injury, I got a clean slate, I guess. You know what I mean? Like I was able to rebuild my brain the way I wanted it to be built. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I still have my what was me days, not days anymore, but maybe
Moment.
half a day or but a little bit. And and but it doesn't consume me. It's not, I don't let it, if I feel it and I'm aware of it now, which is amazing because I'll sit there and I was like, hey, brain's having a party without me, and that's not happening because it's not a good party. And I'll be like, okay, brain, that's enough. Okay, let's find something else to think about. I don't think that way anymore. And so it
Beautiful.
really is the power of our minds, our the words we speak, especially to ourselves. And as women, we don't speak very highly of ourselves. A lot of, we give all that love and that care and that joy and that comfort and compassion to everybody else but ourselves. And I know for myself, when I started realizing this, I was like, wow, do I ever talk nasty to myself? I'm like, would I ever talk to my best friend about that like that?
No.
No. And so like, look at, it sucked. Sorry, that I had all these injuries and these brain injuries. And 10 and a half years is a long time of your life.
Yep.
I would never want to be back at that person 10 years prior or 10 years ago. I don't want to be that person anymore. I love me and I am proud of me for the first time in my life. And look at the gift I've been given.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you, sister. I hear you. I hear the emotion in your voice. I'm tearing up myself. Yeah, it's a real thing. And it's, you know, coming through such crap. And like I said, I'm tearing up. Seriously. I'm totally resonating with you. But coming through such hard times and, seeing, okay, I was a good person. I wasn't, doing things out of the norm. We were just going along with society and being regular people. And then having something happen, and like you said, your slate is clean. You have to start from a new place. And having that opportunity. such a gift. I know for myself also, it's such a gift. It's a responsibility. It's a huge responsibility, I think, um, to make sure we
Yeah.
present it in the best way. But all those things are removed from our lives so that we can focus on this. We can focus on the thing that matters, on our purpose, on our own values, our own things that light us up and make us happy and bring us joy, because that's what we're supposed to be doing. And when we're kind of blocking that stuff, um, we get knocked on the head because we're not listening. So hopefully
I
we
know.
can reach people, you and I, and all us
That's,
here, right? We got to reach
no
people
bang.
before that happens.
Yeah, that's so true. And Tammy, I want to share something is this is how profound your shift in thinking as opposed to fear, as opposed to abundance, right? Because there's always polarity, there's always contrast. Hitting your head, contrast, not so good, recovering, so amazing. But Mother's Day, so May 2023, Mother's Day, I was helping my husband. We were building a pergola, and I was pretty much healed from my other concussions. And I was holding the beam on a ladder, and he was nailing with a nail gun in, and went around and did the other side. And he's like, okay, it's good. It's all nailed in. And I said, okay, got them from the ladder. He let go of the beam, and the beam fell on my head. A 12-foot beam fell, and it hit me on the back, like there, and threw my head back. And the fear that came into me wasn't fear or crying and screaming out of pain. It was out of fear of where I was going to go. I was going to go back to being in bed for months and being able to maybe sweep the floor again. And I was like, oh my God. And I was working with Christy Whitman, who is an energy healer. And I had been working with her since 2021. And um, and which is another thing is that I physically released all my pain with her help from working my nervous system. But working with her and knowing the at that point the power within me, and I I, I started being able to channel and talk to the council, who Christy calls them, and I'm so grateful that they come to me when I ask, because all I heard in my head was stop, just stop, go get an ice pack and sit, like as clear as if somebody was right beside me. So I said to my husband, go get me an ice pack. And I got up and I sat down, and in my head, I was like, okay, I'm going to call in the council and I'm going to ask for help to heal me. And I was like looking up, I was thinking it, and I was looking up ready to ask. And all I heard was, we're already here with your entire stadium of light, with your 7 masters, and all your angels are around, and we are healing you now. And I sat there all day by myself. My husband went to Mother's Day celebration. I sat there, just iced my head all day and in meditation. And I walked away with mild headaches and some whiplash. And that's it.
Lucky.
That's it. I didn't lose my reading again because I had just regained my reading ability. And I was just like, oh my God, I can walk today. I can walk around the house today. Like that day that being felt, I could walk. And I just know that my brain will always be okay as long as my faith never dims.
Yes. Wow. Wow, Cheryl, what a story. What an experience, and what a wow. You are such an inspiration, and my goodness, yeah, you're going to help a lot of people. definitely you're going to help a lot of people. I can see,
I think
yeah, and it's important to you, and it's a passion, and that's the first stages of success, right? You can't, there's nothing, you already got the tools, you already got the things, you got everything's lined up, right? You just need to get out there
yeah.
and get doing it. So if people would like to connect with you, how can they do that?
Um, I'm so bad with social media. So okay, they can reach me. How about at my, is it okay to say my personal email? I mean,
Whatever, whatever
okay, there is
whatever you like.
okay, okay, actually, there's a Facebook page. I do
Okay.
have a Facebook page and it's called concussionsneednotice.com. No, wait, that's not a Facebook thing. Wait a second. See how bad I am. Concussions need notice. Facebook. That will bring them to the my Facebook page. They can get a hold of me there. They can get a hold of me on Cheryl Dyer Facebook, or they can reach me at Cheryl at concussionsneednotice.com. So
Okay. Okay.
concussions, yeah.
Okay. All right. Women of the Women's Wellness Network. We will put all of Cheryl's information into the comment section so that you can reach out to her. We all know a lot of people who've had concussions and symptoms, and it's really great to know them just for yourself, even because something can happen to somebody around you, and being aware of those things are super important. Um, some are super serious and need attention right away, and some, of course, as Cheryl just said, luckily, you take your time, and if you have that faith, it's quite possible for you to walk away from it with nothing more than a headache. And hopefully, that's
Wow.
all we ever have to have, right? And yeah, amazing. So, women, if you are interested at all, please connect with her. And she's obviously got a wealth of knowledge and has a lot of experience. So, Cheryl, thank you so much for coming. And do you have any other final words you'd like to impart to us?
Yes, Tammy, I would like to just thank you for what you're doing. And what you're creating in our universe is love, support, compassion, and for women. And, you know, that's amazing because women, I remember women being like this, eh? It was always like this. And it's so profound. It's so amazing how we can build each other and support each other and not be in competition. We're just in love, and the more you give, the more it comes back to you. It's law of attraction, and you are doing so much for our universe, bringing collectively, bringing all of us women together in harmony and in alignment with good and success and abundance, and the fact that you yes, I'm crying, and the fact that you are doing this to help my story and that help others, because without you this story wouldn't get out and we couldn't help others. So it's so collective. It's such a small village and yet such a grand village.
Right? It really is. Yeah, and it really is. That's the thing. We have so many connections ourselves. We're not, some people are connected within the group, of course, some friends, some family, and then some new people that we're meeting. And then from there, we go and talk to our friend over here who's not in the group maybe about Cheryl, right? And then they want to know. And then, there's got to be somewhere. That's why we need a network. There's got to have some
Yes.
way to, yeah, for everybody to connect and to find one another and realize that healing is completely possible, and never give up, right?
Never give up. No, never give
Awesome.
up.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And Women of the Women's Wellness Network, thank you for watching. And of course, as always, be well. And thank you so much, Cheryl. It was wonderful to speak with you today.